What's up? Welcome to Food and Philosophy episode number 36. Today this is the world debut of this sandwich. Nobody's ever eaten this other than me and Jeff Garcia and his family. And the folks that were there at the influencer event making the sandwich or eating the sandwich together. So it's the first time you've seen it. It's number 5577, Jeff Garcia. It's a turkey, bacon, avocado, cheddar sandwich with honey mustard and ranch. I got mine without bacon. Got this one on wheat. On wheat. What's up? Hi, Kiana. What's up, Pleasanton? All right. What I get? Lettuce, tomato, pickles on this. Very drippy. Look at that. If you like sweet and savory and creamy sandwiches, so the honey mustard makes it sweet, and the ranch and the honey mustard and the avocado make it very creamy. I could see how this would be amazing with either, if you like spice, jalapenos, or sriracha. I'm gonna munch on it during the show. Move it over a little bit. We're still on The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, and we might actually finish it today. But first, my ex talk. It's political season, and so there's been a lot of things about honor and morality. And then I was listening to a podcast that someone sent me, and the host, pretty famous host, I'm not going to say his name, but he kept talking about doing what was moral. And so regardless of whatever your political spectrum is, it's not of any consequence what it is. If you are basing what you're doing based on, quote, honor, that means you are relegating your own opinion down, and you're putting someone or some things or a group's opinion over yours. Because as a natural tendency, humans move towards exactly what they feel will give them the greatest amount of benefit versus drawback. This is like a psychological thing. It's not even debatable, which is why in the past I've said there's never been an unselfish act made by any human being ever, even if it appears to be unselfish. We won't go into that today. Regarding honor, we are always doing what's the most honorable thing to us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it. So anytime somebody brings up the concept of honor and doing what's, quote, honorable, you're actually literally using somebody else's definition of what's allowable or what's not, what's acceptable and what's not. It's not yours. So if you think that you're being honorable, you actually aren't, because you can't be ever honorable in your own values. You just are. You can't ever be dishonorable in your own values because you just are. So bringing that in means you're admitting that you're taking somebody else's opinion or another group of people's opinion over yours. There's no exceptions ever to that. Furthermore, if we start bringing morality into it, what's moral? It's a slippery slope. What did it say in this book or that book or this God or that God? I'm not going to get into a religious discussion right now. If you are still basing whatever you're doing and saying we need to do what's moral, and to the podcasters' defense, like I'm not saying that they were religious and they were talking about morality from a religious structure, but it's no different whether it's religious or if it's from a non-religious space. Moral according to who? Honorable or honor according to whom? This is the problem with honor and doing what's moral, is it's according to whom or what. You're literally saying it doesn't matter what you think. Yeah, you. Doesn't matter what I think. And you're saying this thing of honor is based on somebody else's code, like the honor code or whatever it is. Somebody else's code that they made up or that got made up by a whole bunch of groups, and it could have been adjusted and created over time. But it's still not yours. Even if you agree with it, it's still not yours. You're just subordinating yourself to that. Same with morality. Same with doing what's moral. You're just delegating, relegating, and subjecting yourself to someone else's version of whatever morality is. Even if you agree with it, it doesn't change the fact. So to hell with honor, to hell with morality, because according to whom or what? And fine, I'll bring God into it real quick. If you're like, oh, God or the universe or whatever you believe in, if you want to, and I do believe in something that created this universe, which is why if you're intelligent enough to believe that that's true, then you have to admit that everything then's created by that being. And so how can something dishonorable be actually dishonorable if it was created by the thing that created everything? And if you're intelligent enough to not believe that there's a God or whatever universe, or there's Mother Nature, there's science, there's physics, there's lots of other things to quote believe in, that can be your pseudo religion. And is math ever wrong? Does it ever make a dishonorable thing? Does Mother Nature ever do something honorable or dishonorable? Has earthquakes, it has all these things. Whatever it does, well, I don't believe in anything. That's not true. You believe in the sun coming up in the morning. So whatever it is, honor, dishonor, morality, immorality, that's only when human beings get involved, not when God or the universe or whatever gets involved. So stop subordinating yourself, and you'll actually have a better life. That's my X-Talk. You can say whatever you want in the comments. I already said my thing, and I'm not going to agree with anything that you say, no matter how well-formed you think might say. It's someone else that is a human being's version of what they think honor and morality is, not yours, nor God's, or the universe's, or Mother Nature's. Speaking of prophets, yeah, I think we will get done today. Too proud, indeed, am I to receive wages, but not gifts. And though I've eaten berries among the hills, when you would have had me sit at your board, and slept in the portico of the temple when you would gladly have sheltered me, yet was it not your loving mindfulness of my days and my nights that made food sweet to my mouth and girdled my sleep with visions? For this I bless you most. You give much and know not that you give it all. Verily, the kindness gazes upon itself, and a mirror turns to stone. And a good deed that calls itself by tender names becomes the parent to a curse. And some of you have called me aloof and drunk with my own aloneness. And you have said, he holds counsel with the trees of the forest, but not with men. Let me move back for a second. You give much and not know you give it all. This is why honor and morality are made up, is we can never not contribute to someone else's life. We can never not give. Much like human communication is only 7% verbal, 93% of it is nonverbal. We can't ever not communicate with somebody else. We can also never not give to someone or something. We're either generating love with our actions or inactions, and the flow of love, or we are withdrawing love through our actions and inactions and withdrawing its flow. We're stopping its flow. And regardless of whether you're flowing with love or withdrawing the flow of love, or stopping the flow of love, all of that is useful for the movement of the universe. How do you know? Look at Mother Nature. Look at physics. Look at mathematics. If you believe in God, look at that. Move and act with confidence that whatever it is that you choose or decide, if it's based on a decision, whatever you choose to provide or withhold from others will be a blessing, not just to the people that you're withholding or giving to, and withholding is definitely included, but also to the world. And it will be exactly what is needed in that moment. It's going to be exactly what balances out the mathematical equation in the moment. This is the only way to truly give. The only way. Like I said, we can't ever not give. Nothing you do doesn't give. So just do what you're going to do, regardless of honor or morality. Just do it. Regardless of whether you're withholding, you think that you're withholding, or that you're giving, or that you think that you're giving. If you only move to give, if all you're ever doing is, hey, I want to give, or I need to do this, or we need to give back, or whatever, you're actually not giving. You're making a decision based on someone else's honor code or morality code. You're making stuff up based on someone else, and you're like, I need to do this. If that's the reason why you do it, it's not a freaking gift. You're being guilted and shamed into doing it. How is that a gift? In fact, you can only give guilt and shame when it comes as guilt and shame. No, Ike, I'm just a good person. I just do it. I don't want to say that never is true. If you're giving something and you actually want to give it, you're never going to once think that you're giving something. You're just going to be doing what's the natural order for you. It's not going to come into you like, oh, I'm giving. No, you're just going to be a loving person. And a loving person isn't going to be like, oh, I'm giving this homeless person food. But if you feel guilty about it, and then you feel guilt, and then that guilt gets you to go buy them a sandwich or give them $5 or whatever it is that you're going to do for them, then it wasn't your givingness that gave it. It was your guilt that gave it. And humans don't realize this. They think they're good people, and I'm not saying that you're not. But then they hold their honor or morale, like, look at what I'm doing. There's no look at what I'm doings when it's a true giving. You just live because you can't ever not give in anything. You walk by somebody and you don't give them money, that's still a giving. So if you only move to give, you will no longer be able to do so because it's not giving. It's going to be something else. Doesn't mean it's not nice to give homeless people something, but if you're doing it from guilt, it's not giving. Just call it what it is. Charity, or feeling bad, or you trying to assuage your guilt or shame about having it better than somebody else, which is just a natural tendency of humans. If you act kind, like, oh, I'm being kind, like you're actively thinking that you're being kind, you're not being kind. By observation, you are not being kind. You're doing something else. You might be holding it to someone else's honor code or somebody else's moral code, even if you agree with it. But it is not kindness. It is something else. Again, it doesn't mean it's bad, though you are out of balance, and it's not kindness, and you're not giving. It says so right here. Verily, the kindness that gazes upon itself in the mirror turns to stone, because it's not kindness. It's fake kindness. It's coming from a negative force. And a good deed that calls itself by tender names becomes the parent to the curse. You're not doing a good deed if you think you're doing a good deed. You just naturally do things, and it happens to be, quote, a good deed, or it might not be a good deed. But even then, that's just based on observation. There's no such thing as no good deeds, and there's no such thing as not giving. He sits alone on hilltops and looks down upon our city. True, it is that I've climbed the hills and walked in remote places. How could I have seen you save from a great height or a great distance? How can one be indeed near unless he also be far. And others among you called unto me, not in words, and they said, Stranger, stranger, lover of unreachable heights, why dwell you among the summits where eagles build their nests? Why seek you the unattainable? What storms would you trap in your net? And what vaporous birds do you hunt in the sky? Come and be one of us. Descend and appease your hunger with our bread. Quench your thirst with our wine. In the solitude of their souls, they said these things. But were their solitude deeper, they would have known that I sought but the secret of your joy and your pain. Look at where your time horizons are. Actually, before I get this, as we're moving towards what it is that we love, moving up different concentric spheres of our own awareness in our own relationship to our own universe, and there's 8 billion of them on the planet right now, 8 billion different universes. Others that don't vibe with that see what you're doing and place a judgment on it based on morality or honor. And crazy how the topic really, I didn't do this one on purpose this time. So how honor and morality, and they're comparing you to that. So here, him going out and meditating and praying and doing a connection in a way that they didn't feel like was the right way to be connected based on somebody else's metrics. That's not even their own, even though they agree with it. They're going to want to withhold you back. Hey, come back here. Here specifically is talking about food and wine. If you want to go metaphorically speaking, that's the animal tendencies, the thirst and hunger. And I know this is about food and philosophy, so we do a lot of food. I'm going to take a bite right now, actually. And talk with my mouth full because I see the comments and you guys hate it. Is that as you're moving with love, gratitude, all those feelings, inspiration that come from within, people want you to stop doing that. Because like we do things out of honor and morality because of we feel guilt or shame when we give. That's why we give. That's what altruism literally is. The opposite happens. You go out and you be amazing, and it makes people feel bad that they're not. Hey, stop that. You're making me feel bad because you're going for your dreams or you're attempting to connect with the universe and I'm not. So stop. Come eat like we do. Come drink and quench your thirst. Where are you doing that right now with other people? And what about? What subjects? You do it, even if you're an amazing human being, you do it in some areas. I know I still do it to some people where I have this, like, especially politically. Like, how can you even think that way politically? Is what I would say, or what the experience that I have. Again, has nothing to do with what they're doing. It has everything to do with how it makes me feel on the inside. So look at where your time horizons are. How far out are you planning things? Are you planning things at all? Where is your perspective of life? Are you looking right now in this only thing? And yes, we only have the present. Or are you able to see how what's happening right now, good or bad, is actually contributing to your future, and a great one at that? Remove yourself from the play of what's going on, like the theatrical show, the movie. Live Stroll Through a Movie is one of my favorite books of all time. While observing, if you just remove yourself from the play that's happening, the movie that's happening, while observing what's going on, you will get an even greater observation of what's actually going on. Most people are stuck in the whatever's happening right now without actually being present, which is the irony of it. Because it takes courage to remove yourself from what's actually, quote, happening right now. The movie that's happening. Remove yourself from the equation for the good of the greater of everybody, but also for the good of yourself. It takes courage to do that. Humans, probably an evolutionary thing, we want to belong and be a part of the group so much that we will do crazy things like guilt and shame and other things that are related to guilt and shame. In fact, we want that, but we all still want to be separate and still belong. You kind of can't have both. You can't be separate and still belong. There's going to be you're going to toe the line and you're going to be too separate, and people are going to be like, oh, whoa. You think you're better than me? You won't drink with me? You won't eat with me? You won't fill in the blank with me? You won't vote for my favorite politician with me? We're not allowed to be separate and still belong. That's a conundrum for all humans, and yet we all would love to be separate but still belong to the group. It's not possible. As humans, it's possible like on the other levels of us on our awareness. So bring your awareness to the infinite if you want to be separate and still belong, rather than with the lower animal mind. And oftentimes the human mind is the lower animal mind when compared to the God. So there's the animal brain, only cares about food and sex and not being dead and stuff like that. Then there's the human that's like, oh, why? And then there's the God, which just exists. So obviously being in the human mind is more useful outside of not dying than the reptile brain, the animal mind. But it's still nowhere near where, if you want to get out of the human condition, just be cognizant and aware of the infinite and broaden your time horizons. Now we'll stop there. When you broaden your time horizons, you start to realize and see that there's no giving, there's no losing, there's no gaining, and there's no taking away. This is why when you get what you want, yay. And if you don't get what you want, even freaking better. Your well-being is your greatest contribution to humanity. Don't ever let anybody convince you otherwise. That's their morality, and that's their honor. Catch you next time.